Buenos días. Señoras y señores. Man with a stick again, look. Super Saturday. Where do we start? Again, where do we start? I don't know if I mentioned I was having a bit of trouble with the rabbits. All sorted. They're all in the house now, and I get all the holes, the rabbit holes, and I've joined them all together. So I've got a little central area where I can get to any rabbit hole that I need to go. But there's loads of bunnies in the house, so garlic later. They don't know that yet though. A quick one before we go anywhere. Absolute light, slam dunk, solar eclipse, and how the sun is directly behind the moon. It's a slam dunk, okay? It's absolute light. It's the only way it can work. And then the moon and the tides. Has the moon got anything to do with moving the tides, the water? No. Slam dunk. Here's the thing. I know for a fact so many people, couple people have mentioned stuff. People cannot get past it because of what they've been taught, right? The light thing, the 299,792 kilometers per second, relativity. Now here I am going absolute light because of the sun, the moon, sweet spot. It's a shut case. It's done. Unless a fact changes. We haven't missed anything. We know how a solar eclipse plays out. Unless something that I've missed. Look, the light radiating from that star, sun, is absolute. There is no delay. Light, it's absolute. So many people have followed, some of you followed me and you've seen me go through this over and over and over. Some people have clicked, but there are so many people that simply cannot, even though that it's like, it makes sense. But no. It's the majority, something that you're used to. I have made more mistakes than anybody I know. And I put my hand up so many times. Say, sorry, I'm wrong, right? It's not the best feeling, but when new evidence pops up from somewhere, right, and it contradicts something that you believe, you know it's good evidence. It's right there. It makes sense. What is it that is not allowing people to go, right, new evidence, screw relativity, I don't believe it anymore? What is it that is keeping a hold of people? It's human nature. It's tweakings. When we were children, that is what school is for, right? It's tweaking. Now, the most important thing about changing one's mind when new information arises about something that contradicts something we believe in, it's not something you don't change your mind because everybody else has. That's just wrong. You might as well flip a coin. It is about cutting all of the noise out everywhere. And personally, in a quiet room, going over everything, thinking. Because that should be the only reason anybody ever changes their mind about something. You can't just, where you going, guys? Oh, you believe what? Oh, but, all right, I'm in. And that is what the system wants. Majority, safe in numbers. It's the other way round. I said that the other day. It's not safe in numbers, majority. Everybody following, there's a few comments that I had. I can tell the people, the comments they leave, they're just making the numbers up. They don't know jack, right? It is so important to be able to change one's mind on a personal level, but with the facts, thinking. That is a moment of growth, believe it or not. It is not logical to stay believing something once you know it's a dud. It's illogical. There is no logical reason. Well, there is. The main one is so that people don't realize that I was wrong. Fuck that. Who cares? Trust me, no one really cares. People that you know, and somebody comes up to you one day and goes, hey, I've changed my mind about relativity, I don't believe it anymore. And you'd be like, why? Because of this, that. What do you think? You go, oh. You don't look at the person and go, you wanker. You're wrong, you were wrong. So you've got to look at it at both sides. It's not about anybody else. It's not about what anybody else thinks either. That is one of the biggest chains. It's attached to people. Worrying what other people will think. Once you can unlock that chain, you're free. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's about, everyone's journey is a personal journey. Every now and again you have a partner or this, that, the other, but at the end of the day, it's a personal journey. It's important, very important. When new facts arrive about something that we've believed in, and it contradicts what we believed in, and you personally have gone over those facts and you can see that, yes, I could have been going the other way here. Moment of growth, when you can admit to yourself that you were wrong. We're all wrong every now and again. If I had a dog every time I've been wrong, jeez. But now, it's a horrible trait to not be able to admit to oneself that you were wrong. And once you do it once or twice, you'll see that your life will improve. Because now you're in charge of the journey, not what the majority think, right? Now, absolute light, slam dunk. This is a big one, a very big one. These are just a few things, right? Got all seen the movie Lucy, where you've got so much of your brain power goes, she gets more and she becomes in touch with everything. The speed of light is constantly running in the back of my mind. So now what I'm doing, it's always clicking over, always thinking about it. It's a slam dunk. It is absolute. There is no light delay whatsoever, especially from the sun during a solar eclipse. Now, a few people might be thinking, look, I like what this guy's doing. I'm going to believe everything he says. Like I always say, it's not about that. It's not about that. You will automatically shift once you understand, this is a thing. So many people are just, it goes in one, out the other. They don't really understand what they're talking about, what I'm talking about. Some people don't like the numbers. Oh, I love your content, but when you put big numbers up, it confuses me. I don't like that. It's a real comment. It's like, shit, the info back then was in the numbers. It's important, right, to think and to not be influenced by the noise. And the noise is everywhere. And there is a reason that the noise is everywhere. A question, a big one that I've been asking myself. Some of the stuff that I've been posting, some of the stuff that other people are posting a year ago, forget it. You breach community guidelines. No, no, no. What's happened and why? Why all of a sudden vaccine, it doesn't matter what we talk about, it's allowed and everywhere. Why? What? Where's the logic? What could have changed? It's a few things. One, that the social media sites, see, it depends who owns them, that they finally said, shit, these conspiracy theorists, they're onto something. Let's let them post whatever they want. That is one. Then you say, that doesn't sound right. What else could it be? Well, it could be that the social media sites don't agree, but they want to see who is saying what. Don't forget, they know everything about us. Fingerprints, eye, freaking recognition, everything. We don't know who they are. We could be walking past them in the street. Owner of whatever. Some company that's been tracking your social media activities for the last 2 years. But you don't know who they are. That is one of the downfalls of always giving them information. Now, we're blind. They know everything, right? So that's another reason. Those are probably the main two that they've decided, nah, let them post. This is good. They're going to sort the world out. Or they just want to see who is saying what so they can monitor them, right? I've been really tame. I'm careful what I say. I still think I could unleash some stuff, what I think. That would be borderline. Sorry, mate, we're not going to let this one go. But I've not gone there. So, light being absolute, the moon, moving the water. This is another massive one, right? Now, no, the moon has nothing to do with the tides. Slam dunk, right? So you can seen what I've been doing will know why I'm saying that. But again, there will be people going, how is it possible? It can't be. Everything that I've learned ever. How can the moon not be moving the tides? It doesn't. So here we are again. These are big moments. These are big. Now the thing I love about them is I've ignored the noise. And believe you me, there has been some noise. I don't listen to it. I think on a personal level. Now, what anybody says, what I read in books, what's said on the TV, those people go, you should watch such and such a reel about the speed. For what? What for? Solar eclipse. It trumps everything. It just does. Even fucking Newton. Now, it just so happens that light had a bit to do with Newton, didn't it? Gravity. Who was that? 1666 or 68. Newton What have I been saying? Those of you that follow my shenanigans, up on the board, the names. Years later, what do we find? Common denominator, Newton. So, I know for a fact that it's absolute light and that gravity, the water is not being affected by the moon's gravity. I'm not calling all gravity, but the tides, these are two big ones. So now, where I am, and why I feel using logic and common sense makes my life easier, when I see things like CERN. So what are they doing then? If light, you tell me. But I know for a fact that they're not smashing particles together like Ford Fiestas and seeing what shape the windscreens come out in. This is why it's easy, not easy peasy, but I find it a lot easier to navigate through the social media sites because I know every time I see scientists have just discovered at CERN, rubbish. Every time I see, the James Webb Space Telescope has discovered another exoplanet at 23,000 light years, rubbish. Because there is no such thing as a light year. That is why it's important to trust one's own judgment. Right now, there'll be people going, this guy, I don't give a shit what people are saying because I trust my own judgment. It's done me well up until now. These aren't slam dunks I've done recklessly, impulsively, and I have done once or two in my time, and they've still held, right? I have thought about these with an objective mind, using logic and common sense, and going over them again and again. I'm not wrong. Absolute light. Now those people that go, but it's been worked out thousands of times. I'd line you all up here and just give you all a little slap upside the head. That is presumption. If people haven't realised by now that all they do is lie to us, you will never realise. You just won't ever get out of that box. Everything is a lie. And there's a reason for it. There's a few things going on. What am I on? 18. Damn, that time is going faster. Not really. Knowing these two are slam dunks, you have to ask yourself, why are they lying? And let's get one thing straight here. It's not like they've made a mistake. They know these are lies. These are deliberate lies. But Roma, Bradley, Galileo, Kepler, Tycho Brahe, Newton, Einstein, the Apollos, Mars missions, the Voyagers, Cassini, the Parker Solar Probe, that's an absurdity, DART, LIGO, the Hubble, the James Webb Space Telescope, aliens, UFOs, all of those things suggest a round planet, don't they? All of them. They all directly or indirectly are saying, hey, look, it's round. And We have relativity. All of them. Is it logical that all of these names, Roma, Bradley, Gay, worked all of this stuff out 250 to 300 years before any of it was needed? If in 1668 Newton had walked into a pub and had said, "Gravity, I have been," everybody would have turned around and, "What are you talking about? What are you doing?" None of it makes sense. It's illogical. For the time periods that were given, for the things that were done, it's a couple of red flags. See, it's never just one thing. It's never just one thing. These things, they're not invisible, massless packets. They're visible, mysterious packets. Right? Flat all around. There is so much. And listen, when I say that didn't happen, that's a lie. Roma, there are people. Look, I get it, I understand. Yesterday, no, they did have accurate timekeeping devices to within 5 or 10 seconds. It's like, listen, person, get a telescope. Wait for Jupiter to be doing the rounds in your night sky and try it, please. Try it. Nobody should be commenting until that moment has passed. It will only be then that you will realize it didn't happen. This is the thing. No, but look, it's been worked out thousands of times. The books, the lists of people. Look, another slap upside the head. It's presumption. The rapid fire strategy. Loads. It's written everywhere. Bang, bang. And back in the day, another 3 people did it, and it becomes a thing. It's about trusting your own judgment. These are strategies. The names. Where's that one? Look at this. These are just the speed of light, people, right? And that goes up to 1978. Now, when you look at that list, your average Joe would go, it's a done deal. But it's not a done deal. This is the thing that people don't get. These are elaborate lies. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, don't I? How would you even consider that all of those names were just bogus and that they didn't do what is said they did? That is a strategy, right? It is a distraction. People now going, this guy is insane. Mum, come on, he's on again. Guys, bananas. Fucking bananas, the things he's saying. They're lies. They're lies. Rome, all of it, they're also obviously lies, right? The time they were done, all clumped together, all living in different countries, they made out like they were all pen pals and like there were trains running and postmen running Denmark down to Rome and from Rome to Paris and Stuttgart back to Copenhagen. Folks, all of this is highly illogical. It's something that has been rewritten and fed in for the masses so that they think that these things have happened. Listen, I've got bunny holes all joined up together. You should come and join me in one day. I'll show you some rabbit holes you won't believe. And I scratched the surface. There are so many other things going on. And I look at them, I think, I bet that's good. But I'm good. I've got a good chunk of the shit for myself here, and I like it. Then we have, let's go back to CERN. What are we doing? It's underground, it's a tunnel. Don't know if people know about the underground tunnel network in Europe, right? What they are not doing is colliding particles together. Yeah, but we've seen the pictures. You saw the Apollos go up as well. Folks, they can't be, because this is how it works. When I say logic and common sense, you can open one door and shut another. The door of finite light is shut. The only way it would open back up again is if a fact that I've been following somehow changed, that it was wrong. With the information and everything that I've seen, light is absolute. It's beyond questioning, which is why I don't anymore. Of course, the key is in the relativity door and the finite light door, but a fact would have to change. Something, the solar eclipse would have to change, and that is not going to change. And I've seen plenty of them. It's a laser-like process, whether they be close or far away. The sun is directly behind the moon, and it is the moon blocking the light source, not Mickey Mouse photons, right? So, yeah, but GPS, but upside the head, if they can make you believe that the sun isn't behind the moon when it is clearly directly behind the moon, they can make you believe anything they want. You're welcome. Let's talk about GPS and LiDAR. It's all irrelevant. We're not there. We're talking about solar eclipses that have been happening since they've been up in the sky a long time ago. They trump everything that has been said after it. Common sense and logic. CERN, tunnels. Tunnels, underground. Again, the stuff, flat earth. The stuff that people should be focusing on is here on earth. But they have everybody up in the sky. It's another red flag. This is no accident, folks, right? They have put in a lot of effort to keep eyes up in the sky. Now and again we hear Antarctica this and that. Folks, keep your eyes on the ball. It's down here. Up there is purely a distraction. Thrust in a vacuum won't even work. No way! But seriously, I have yet in my entire existence seen something that will suggest it does. Please don't say Artemis 2. Simon Dan. Look, I've got a sweet spot for him. It should be Sci-Fi Man Dan. I was doing something and a YouTube notification came up. Simon Dan. What was it? What would they have to do to fake Artemis 2? Well, how difficult would it be? Like, I can't work you out, Simon Dan. You really honestly believe Artemis 2? Or you just got to go through the motions because they're your sponsors and shit. I haven't worked it out yet, but things like that just blow my mind. Seriously, sci-fi, man, Dan. I reckon you're in a spot. And look, you've got to do what you've got to do. But I'm not totally convinced that you believe all of that. The pyramids, all of the stone structures, the cathedrals, the buildings that make no sense. Everything is connected. Everything is happening down here, isn't it? Everything is happening down here. But they have everybody thinking they're going to Mars next year. The Nobel Prizes, some of them may be real, but some of them are an insult to people's intelligence. The Kip Thorne, right? For the LIGO, the laser interferometer gravitational wave absurdity. Look, absolute light. The gravitational wave thing, it's food for the gullible. Speed of light. See, this is why it gets a little bit heavy for those who can't trust their own judgment and who are used to going with the majority and who are just used to putting their hands up because everybody else does. That time has gone. It is not acceptable anymore. It is time to put thinking caps on. Once everybody gets into a routine of starting to think for themselves, they will find it that much more difficult, right? It is way more difficult to control 10 individual people who can all think for themselves than it is a group of 10 people who all have the same thought. It's chalk and cheese. They fear people waking up tomorrow morning going, hang on, I can think. Discuss this. I think, therefore I am. People need to start to trust their own judgment. These two are piggybacks. Use them. Think about it. Give yourself a day or two with no noise and think about them on a personal level. Doesn't matter what matey down the pub says, he's always pissed anyway. Think about these things, honestly. And then, the Middle East. It just seems like they're always sniffing around there. Throwing a grenade in, aren't they? Take cover! Boom. There's always something going on. It has a feel. Somebody, a group of people are looking for something. It feels like that, and it's always just ahead of them, or they've gone to the wrong place, and I don't know. That is just like an outside hunch. The Middle East is, it's kind of not central, but there is something, right? Doesn't that so? Yeah, look, that's about it. So in a nutshell, all of this stuff has people looking up at the sky, but why? It's a planet, space, stars, that kind of stuff. But the light thing, it's definitely lies. The Newton, who's a star, is not that much of a star because of, and then you look at all of them and you say, rapid fire strategy. There's so many things suggesting that it is a spinning planet. It might not be, because the amount of effort that has been put in to the lies is unbelievable. And I always say, one of the biggest smoking guns for me is the lies that the Mickey Mouse science keeps telling. It really is. So, Super Saturday, I just wanted to get all that off. It's like a chapter, not a chapter, but enough comments that need to be mentioned, right? Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If you think about these things using logic and common sense and on a personal level, and you allow yourself to be objective, and you change your mind because of what you have thought, not because of what I thought, but it's a piggyback. I couldn't be doing all this for all these years if I wasn't sure, okay? And look, I do make mistakes, but my slam dunks, I use the facts that we have at hand. And for a slam dunk to unslam dunk itself, facts would need to change. And believe you me, if they did, I would be the first one to do a post and say, yo, 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 wrong. I would. I've done it before. Haven't I, Simon Dan? All right, folks. Look, 36. Dang. Right, Super Saturday. I will be back. Laters.